Hello and welcome to the Yami Shibai discussion, hosted by me, the Germ, joined by...
Boom. Ghosty. Back at you again.
Could you
I missed the
move
webcam.
like a foot to your left? I'm going to keep this in because I think it's funny. Just so you're more central. There we go.
How's that? Yeah,
That's a lot better.
My difficulties is like a space under my desk here. This is actually on the side of my desk. So I'm like pointed at the corner of my desk.
I have a lot of trouble too because my camera keeps going this way and I have to keep fixing it. So I feel like I'm always moving every time I record.
It's just action. It's an action cam.
I don't know. It's very slow. I don't think it's when we're recording actively. Or maybe I'm slowly sliding away.
You're well centered at least.
It's because I concentrate on it so much. Maybe it keeps me good.
I feel like if I was as centered as you, I'd have to be really close to the webcam. Like, I'm really close to the screen right now.
That's way too close.
You see all my pores.
Let's count nose hairs, everyone.
I'll win in that battle.
I don't know. I am like a year and a half older than you.
True.
Year and a half more nose hairs incoming.
You've had more time to cultivate your crops.
Okay, we have to talk about the show, okay? Step right up and have a look. It's time for Yami Shibai. This episode, Red High Heel. We join a man just getting out after some overtime at work, but he stayed too late and he missed his train.
This is actually a thing that happens. I think people just stay at the station until the first train in the morning.
Wow, do you think... I guess it would only be a few hours.
Yeah, exactly. You may as well just like take a nap for 3 hours or something.
That's not a bad idea. He considers waiting for a cab, but the lines are so long and uncolored.
This is a nice frame though, eh? It looks kind of like a piece of art.
It does look like a piece of art, like from like the early 20th century or something.
Especially if you took the character out and it's just the people standing there.
Yeah.
It's cool.
He decides to walk home sad and tired about the whole thing. Taxi after taxi passes by, but none stop to pick him up. Until a speeding taxi suddenly stops. He's ecstatic about finally finding a taxi home, but something bumps his foot. It's a red high heel. Let's hope he's not a foot fetishist, or this might be a different kind of horror than what we're used to.
And it might not be that clear from this picture, but they're continuing with the theme of when there's like a cursed object, showing the real footage.
I never picked up on that. That's interesting. That is definitely what's going on.
That's like the theme of the season. Yeah, when something's unnatural, they show it differently with the real life footage.
I never thought of that. That's so cool. I love that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, eh? Innovative.
And this has completely nothing to do with yours. I didn't grab any of these comments, but there was an argument about why did they use a woman's hand in this image? And the more I look at it, I don't think it's a woman's hand.
I was going to say, I don't think you can assume that's a woman's hand at all.
Yeah. Like, what makes it a woman's hand?
It's like maybe the most neutral hand possible. It's average hand sized. The nails are clean.
Like, it's a really white nail, but that could just as easily be a reflection from the light as fingernail paint.
I guess it's not that hairy, but it's also like 3 pixels. So
they were like insisting it was a woman's hand, but I don't feel like it's that obvious.
No, that's projection.
Because they have women's hands?
Yeah, exactly. Little tiny women's hands.
He picks it up and asks the driver if it's his or a former customer's, but the driver stares blankly out of the front. After a few stutters, the driver says blankly, "Throw it out." Our main character is stunned and starts to argue that it could be someone's, but the driver gets angry and yells at him to throw it out already.
His eyes are really intense.
They love using this frame where you can see him in the driver's mirror, like the front passenger. I think this is the 3rd time they've done it.
This is the only time they have the intense eyes, though.
Well, angry, definitely. Then a quiet scraping noise comes from outside the taxi. They both look out to see a woman running next to the taxi, all scratched up and bloody.
Now that you pointed out that
Yeah.
they're showing his expression in the mirror every time, it's kind of funny now. Like you go back,
Oh yeah,
like, oh.
it's cheaper than doing the whole body. Oh, huh? The taxi driver yells at him to throw it out already, but he looks down to see the heel's not colored red, but is covered in blood. And we get treated as some real footage of the heel and the hands covered in the red liquid.
Oh, crazy.
I don't think that looks like blood, but what do I know?
It definitely just looks like paint.
Yep.
But at least it's the same style of heel as the actual red one in the other frame.
That's true.
Good job.
He freaks out, throwing the heel out the window. We look back to see the woman in red holding the heel, watching them drive away. The two men catch their breath, finally safe from that running woman, when the taxi driver slams on the brakes, causing them to squeal. We zoom into a bloody head of the woman crashing and hearing it crashing in the background. The end.
Dramatic ending.
I say zoom in, but it's literally one frame of them in the taxi, and then it's the head.
Yeah, there's quite a bit that's left to the imagination at the end there. Like, I don't think we get any frame of him throwing the heel out.
Nope.
So I was kind of confused.
We get one arm, like, over.
I was kind of confused as to if he ever threw it out or not. And watching it again, I was like, okay, yeah.
Yeah. I can see why you'd be confused.
And then we don't really know what happened with the tires screeching. Did she teleport in front of them and get hit? Was it like
there's a lot of speculation about that?
Yeah. Or was it like a premonition that that was about to happen?
I have some comments about that, but my personal theory was not in the comments.
What's yours then? Now's the time.
I think he is trapped in a time loop with the ghost. I'm not sure if they're both dead or just one of them. Actually, probably both dead. Where he keeps picking people up and then hitting her afterwards. Because he knew what the heel was.
Yeah, that was the other thing that's kind of unexplained is it like a known ghost for taxi drivers or something?
Oh, they pass in the back rooms of the taxi clubs. They're like, watch out for the high heel or it'll get you.
Yeah, like a known urban myth or something.
Yeah.
And like, why did he hesitate though? When the heel was first in there, he just ignores the guy first, I think.
Yeah, he's like, he ignores him and then stutters, like, throw it out, like that, like, except in Japanese.
Maybe it was just that he was paralyzed with fear or something.
Maybe. There's a lot of theories. We'll get into some of them in the comments. Do you have any theories yourself, other than the back channels of taxi drivers?
Yeah, the way I interpreted it was that it's like an urban myth that he was aware of, and he was just paralyzed with fear when he initially mentioned the heel.
I find that's an interesting idea.
Like,
we took it entirely different ways.
Somebody if you don't react or something like that. How did you take it? Or
I thought it was they were two ghosts repeating the same actions over and over.
Oh, yes. Oh, that makes sense, actually. I didn't get that the taxi driver could have been a ghost.
I don't think it's ever implied, but I took it that he knew what the heel was, so it was like coming back to him like, oh no.
That makes a lot of sense, actually.
Because it heavily hints that he's a bad driver. From him screeching to pick the guy up, to him like...
Oh, true.
Looking away from the road, and then screeching at the end, like speeding.
Good point.
Yeah. So I think the man was just an unfortunate bystander.
Unlucky. It was also like 4 a.m. based off the times.
I wanted to bring up the narrator laughing at the end. It's kind of weird.
Oh, that is kind of weird. Yeah. It didn't do that in any of the other ones, did it?
No. So just for anyone who hasn't watched it and is listening to us, shame on you. But the narrator is like, the end, at the end slide.
Yeah, he's not like that in any of the other episodes.
I also saw a lot of comments saying that's a different narrator, but I don't know if it is.
I didn't notice it as a different narrator, but I will say he annoyed me less this episode than he did the other ones.
That
So
might be
maybe it was
why.
different.
That might be
Because I
why.
thought about it. I was like, oh, this is not as bad as it normally is.
I still feel like the narration is overboard.
I agree mostly. But in this one, I felt like it was okay just because there was a lot of scenes where there wouldn't have naturally have been speaking.
A lot of quiet.
So
Yeah.
it was okay to have some like explanation of what was happening.
I think we could have figured it out though.
It would have been more boring. It's just quiet the whole time.
I think it could have been more suspenseful, but unless we muted ourselves, we'll never know.
Yeah.
And who has time or energy to do that?
It'll take literally 4 minutes, but I appreciate it. All right, okay, let's get into the comments then.
Oh, there's one thing I wanted to point out.
Mm-hmm.
She was wearing a red dress with white heels. Is that a thing that women do?
We're bad sources for this,
yeah,
but
I don't feel like that's a thing.
Let's do a fashion review. Yeah, it does look kind of weird, doesn't it?
Yeah, like I think the red and the pink would have worked a lot better.
I think white and pink's better. If we're on the runway in Paris, I'm going white and pink, not red and pink, because they're too similar. Like it's not really a very good combo.
Maybe, but I don't think the white and pink in this photo works. If you look at her right foot,
I think it depends on what color you interpret the dress as. If it's pink, then it's good. If it's red, then the red heels maybe would be better.
Okay.
I say this like I know what the hell I'm talking about.
More informed than me. And that was my last note. I just thought it was odd.
Yeah, no, I agree. It could be a weird fashion choice.
But we're not experts.
Until now.
Let's go to the comments.
Okay, so Otaku Joe 32 7 years ago said that reminds me of this, and then there's a hyperlink to something about ghost taxis. And is it just me, or is the narrator changing with each episode?
There was a lot of people talking about the narrator, but I actually looked up the webpage, and it's just interesting. A good read if anyone wanted to go check it out.
That does seem cool. Yeah. I'm surprised they let you put links in Crunchyroll comments.
Right?
Maybe you should put this link in the description for the YouTube video if you remember.
I'll try to remember. But the link is also there, but also you can see what it's called here.
True.
So even if I forget it, like it's not hard to find. I'll try to remember.
Is this whole website about ghost taxis, or just
this is someone's like blog about stories from Japan?
Interesting.
Yeah. And this is unusual, but I found a comment on this website that I'm gonna bring up as well.
Let's see it.
People who vanish before paying are deadbeats. This is. They're saying it's common for taxi drivers to say their customers disappear. It's just
I see. There was actually somebody just trying to get out of paying the bill. They're really sneaky. Yeah, it makes sense, honestly.
Oh, I just thought that was so funny.
They are deadbeats, though.
No question.
Jsand 1009 said, so the cab driver is being followed by the ghost of the women he hit, and she is forcing him to relive the incident. That's what I got from the story. Anyone else? That's kind of similar to what you said.
It's similar, but not quite the same.
So you thought they were both ghosts, but this one is like...
He just keeps getting new taxis. He never learned his lesson.
It's kind of similar to how I interpreted it too, I guess. Except for me, it wasn't forcing him to relive it over and over again. It was more of just like a known urban myth.
There's a reply to this one that I'll read from Dom Vina. That sounds right. When the narrator said he stopped paying attention and went down a dark, deserted street, that was the moment he left the real world and entered the spirit world. Japanese ghost stories warn of making wrong turns. And I thought that was interesting.
That kind of aligns a little bit more with yours.
Yeah, I did notice when I grabbed these comments, but it's definitely like similar to mine.
Relit 101 said, what takes so long for somebody to throw out a shoe?
I just thought that
he was concerned. He thought it was somebody's forgotten piece of property, so he just want to throw it out, right?
Yeah, he cares about people. That's why.
Oh, I found this shoe. Well,
Eh.
not my problem. Clearly, this person has never forgotten their phone in a taxi. I have, and I'm glad the next people didn't throw it out the window.
Oh, someone's phone. Good luck. Oh, I just thought this comment was so funny. Oh, right. I forgot there was a reply on this one.
Okay, I guess Barry Mize said, I'm more confused on how he didn't realize that this was blood.
I agree. You think it would be obvious, right?
If it's a ghost, it's totally possible. It just starts as like a red shoe that eventually becomes like a
And
bloody
then, like,
white
it
shoe.
like melts. That I love
Yeah.
that theory.
Just makes sense.
Ghost logic. So we've had this person's comments before. Edgy Etchy
Oh, yes.
Senpai.
The name.
Big fan. Big fan. Driver is holding the wheel as if he was riding in circles. So I have a note from when this was. So we're going to go back, just like I did. Like,
Let's see.
oh, is he? You guys ready for this?
Oh, yeah, he is.
He is. But on second inspection, he's just holding the wheel odd. He's just holding the wheel odd.
It's possible if he's... This would be like a one-handed position.
Yeah. But
It'd be kind of weird. Isn't he accelerating in this part, though?
yes, I think it's hilarious that he's just like burnouts the entire time and the man just doesn't realize.
Because he's driving in circles.
It totally looks like he's driving in circles.
It does. It really does.
And now to go back to the slide. Thankfully, I have a note which one it was. So thank you for that funny visual. I appreciate it.
It's observant. Good observation.
And last comment. Do you want me to read it?
This is
or
the
can
most
you read it?
colorful comment yet. I got it. Kajo Senpai 69. Nice. Very nice. Another victim of the fake taxi, and then like this creepy face. It's a different rendition of the red heels on the subway story I've heard so long ago. I wonder how the ghost lady managed to crash into the windshield. I've never heard of the red heels on the subway story. Do you know what that is?
No, I should have looked it up. Dang it. I didn't occur to me. Should we do some last minute Googling? Try and quickly.
Let me look.
Thank you. Because I just kind of assumed it was just like a common story that we've all kind of heard about, like someone falling on the tracks or seeing a red shoe on the tracks and going to fetch it or something. And when they mentioned the ghost lady in the windshield, because it's true, she does kind of like slam right into the camera on, like she must have like jumped up in the air or something, or maybe she's really tall. We never did get confirmation.
So I Google red heels on the subway.
Yeah. I'm assuming there's just like
comes
warnings about people tripping.
Nothing comes up. I don't know what this is.
Okay, but to me it just sounds like one of those urban legends, like
there's a Korean horror film about it. So this woman finds a pair of bright pink heels in a subway car and takes them, and then she discovers they're cursed.
That actually sounds really interesting.
It's not the same as this plot line, though, really.
No, but there's some similarities.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's really funny to replace the main character from a woman to a man with a fetish. Oh no, they're cursed. My second fetish has come true.
Finally, my niche.
And that's the last comment. So any themes or metaphors for the episode? Because I certainly struggled.
Well, we kind of touched on like there's a lot open to interpretation here.
No.
Don't
work overtime?
Yeah, I guess so. The taxi driver was overworked too, right?
Yep.
So that's part of it.
And also, he that showed a lot of signs he wasn't a safe taxi driver, so be safe driving.
Yeah, actually kind of like that. I think that makes the most sense.
Yeah. But poor passenger then. He didn't really have anything involved with it. He even cared about the person with the shoe.
Yeah, the other thing was don't be too kind to other people or they'll hunt you.
Oh, that's right.
So be careful.
Yeah.
I don't know about that lesson.
I took it to heart. Never be kind.
Blanket statement.
Okay. Our personal scores.
Yeah, I liked this episode a lot more than the other ones. I don't know if it's just because my expectations have lowered, but I felt like it went better with the voiceover, and I also like the urban ghost story, urban myth aspect to it, which is how just I interpreted it, I guess. And the whole like reveal, it's not a red shoe, it's a white shoe, it's blood. It was kind of interesting.
It's fun, yeah.
So I'm giving this a 9. I don't think it's as good as 9s from other seasons, but
it's all about your
maybe
enjoyment.
I'll scale back that rating later. But yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It's a 9.
For me personally, I thought there was too much ambiguous. Like we didn't get enough information for me personally. And you know, I like it being somewhat ambiguous, but I felt like there was too much clouded for it to like be a fun time talking about. So I'm rating it a 5. Fair. Yeah,
it's not a fun. It and didn't enjoy it for different reasons.
Yeah, and it's not a fun monster either. It's just a ghost.
Yeah, it's not that innovative. That's true.
No. So that gives it for us a 14 out of a possible 20.
Decent score.
Yeah, decent score. Decent. That might be the highest so far this season.
It definitely is because I've been rating them so low.
I haven't rated any particularly high either. So now that that's all scored up and sorted into the sort of record books, the next episode is called Night Bus.
Ooh, classic creepy type thing. You don't want to sleep on a night bus because you never know what weirdos are going to be on there with you.
Is that what you think the story is? Someone sleeping?
That'll probably be. That makes sense.
Yeah. Similar last week, I thought I'd give a spoiler for this one too.
Let's see.
But the spoiler is for the lesson we learn at the end.
What's that?
Don't have diarrhea when you're going on a night bus.
That's a good lesson. Usually the bus drivers won't let you take a poop in the toilet at the back of the bus because it stinks stuff for everybody.
But what could that mean?
I'm excited for this.
We'll have to find out in 2 weeks' time.
Let's see.
Thank you for joining us, Ghosty.
Thank you, Germ and audience.
And remember, thank you for being you. Bye.
Bye.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, so creepy.
Ghost stories.